So, upon hearing about like the Crow trailer and all that, I actually had not seen the Crow. So when I seen the trailer first, I was like, oh, everyone seems to really not like this. So last week I decided to watch the Crow, the original one with Brandon Lee, the late Brandon Lee. And I watched it for the first time ever, and I was shocked at how much I liked that thing. I thought it was a pretty, fun, entertaining movie. And then going back to the reboot trailer, I don't see what the issue is. Now, I've only seen some snippets of the comic, and some people are saying that this reboot is following the comics, not exactly the first movie, which makes sense because, they don't want to make it even seem like they're trying to disrespect Brandon Lee. Now, there are people who are saying, oh, The Crow, changed history. It's one of the best movies of all time. I wouldn't agree with that. And you guys let me know if I'm like reaching a bit. Why does it seem like that when a celebrity dies, people feel the need to defend their movie to the grave, even if it was a bad or just okay movie? You know what I mean? People saying, oh, The Crow is Brandon Lee and that's it. But people got to remember, The Crow was a comic first before anyone even thought of Brandon Lee being The Crow, right? And just like how people compare all the Jokers to Heath Ledger's Joker, right? Like, it just seems like, when a celebrity dies, their movie has to be risen up to the top, regardless if it's a good movie or a bad movie. But, you guys just let me know on that. Now, my thoughts, Bill Skarsgård character doesn't have the white face paint. Yeah, it would be nice to have it, but I understand why, because, they don't want to make it too much like Brandon Lee. And I do agree with having Bill's character be Eric again. They could have chosen another person to become the Crow. You gotta remember, there's way more than just Eric as the Crow. There's plenty other people who have had their, revenge stories in the comic and movies. Now, I haven't seen any of the other movies, and from what I've heard, I'm probably not going to. But honestly, I don't see the issue, and people are saying, oh, this is a John Wick style-ish movie that they're just trying to do. From how the action was in the first movie, in my opinion, and how the panels or how the pages of the comic looked, the comic itself looked very John Wick-ish. If that makes sense and all that. So when people say that, I see that as a good thing, not a bad thing. I mean, obviously, there's this one scene, probably my favorite scene in the movie, where, the Crow goes to, the bad guy's, little building. And that's like that big shootout where everyone shoots him and all that. That, to me, you could almost compare that to, a John Wick-ish type action scene or whatever. Now, maybe the reason why I don't have a problem with the reboot trailer and that they're making one is probably because, I didn't grow up with The Crow, so it doesn't hit me as much as it probably hit Shaw who grew up with it. But honestly, do I think the reboot deserves much hate? No. I don't think it does, and everything else. I've heard some complaints. We're gonna go over these just real quick. People saying that, from the trailer, it seems like, Eric and this girl they were addicts or something like that, and that, they met when they was in rehab. That's what it seemed like in the trailer. And people have been saying, oh, well, the fact that they were addicts and that they were kind of already bad people in a way makes me feel no sympathy for them. Here's the thing about that. I did see that in the comic, Eric was an addict in a way. So it seems like some of the people that are upset about it never did read the comic. That's what I've noticed. They watch the first movie and say, okay, this is the Crow, this is the only Crow, to the point where they will shut out the original source material of the movie. So that's interesting. Now, of course, the Crow has been delayed. And I wonder what they're gonna do with that. Are they gonna maybe try to, you know, add the face paint, maybe like CGI it in, have some reshoots, maybe add some scenes or take some scenes out. I wonder what's gonna happen, because obviously they delayed it because of the, backlash it got. So I wonder, I mean, like, you might as well just release the movie. Like, what is this? Like, what is this gonna do? Now, it made sense. Remember with Sonic, the first Sonic movie, the way Sonic looked was terrible. Way terrible. Like, oh my god, it was bad. And they delayed the movie. And look, it was good that way, because look how far they've come now, right? Because of the studio actually righting the wrongs, right? But with this, I wonder why they would, delay it. Like, what could they change to make people? They should already, listen, if people hate the way this looks, oh well. But then again, you guys comment down, what do you think? I don't really see got issue with it. I had just seen the movie last week, so maybe I probably shouldn't even really have an opinion on this. But I've heard people saying like, oh, Brandon Lee would be turning over in his grave right now. This is terrible. Like, they're just want to. Knowing how Brandon Lee and seeing some of his interviews, how crazy would have been that had he been alive today, he seems like the kind of actor that would have told Bill Skarsgård, like, hey, people might hate you for it, but go for it, man. Like, wouldn't that have been crazy? That Brandon probably would have been cheering Bill on to do this. Like, he seemed like that cool, calm and collected, down to earth kind of guy. So people saying, oh, Brandon Lee would be turning over in his grave, the Crow should be left alone. Like, look, it was a comic series. There was plenty of comments about the Crow. There's a big following with that. I don't think they should just stop and erase the Crow just because of what happened to Brandon Lee. Yes, it's tragic the way he died during it, but it's still, I don't think we should just stop making Crow. I mean, hey, in my opinion, if it was me, I would have made like a Crow animated movie with the art style similar to the comic and just go off of that. That's how I would do it. I wouldn't have even done a live action. That's how I would have done it. Yes, it's a shame Brandon couldn't see his creation. Then again, Heath Ledger didn't get to see his creation either. He died before The Dark Knight came out. So would it make sense that, oh, we shouldn't have any other Joker movie because Heath Ledger's death? Well, that's the thing. And I'm going to ask you guys this. I'm gonna leave it off with this. Would The Crow, would this movie have still been successful and remembered today if Brandon Lee did not die? In my opinion, I don't think it would have been as remembered if Brandon Lee did not die. People mainly remember and know this movie because of Brandon Lee's death, unfortunately. You guys comment down and let me know.